Have you been naughty or nice this year? Do you feel that you don't deserve a visit from Santa Claus, that all you deserve is a lump of coal? Well, what if a lump of coal is the best you can hope for, as the sound of church bells ring in the evening air, cutting through the icy chill that freezes all that it touches? Or the sound of Christmas bells, the sign of approaching reindeers? Or could it be something more sinister? Could it be Krampus? Now, many of you may wonder who Krampus is. He is described as Santa's evil brother, while others suggest he is another folklore used to terrify children into being well behaved throughout the year, to the amusement of many adults. But if you consider what Krampus looks like and what he is known for doing to his victims, fear really does seem like the most obvious reaction. He is described as standing between 8 and 9 feet in height, a demonic figure of a man with goat horns, hooves, and a long tongue that slithers out from between his lips as he licks his victims, tasting their fear. Krampus also has very long dark hair and deadly fangs that drip from his mouth. When he comes across naughty children, he takes out a rod of birch and whips them into submission. This is where he judges you again. Do you deserve a piece of coal? Or are you so naughty that you need something much more brutal? Dissectors, pray for that coal, because if he suddenly takes out a chain, you are in serious trouble. With this chain, he will wrap it tightly around you, squeezing the air from your lungs, with tales suggesting that he will either drag the child's body down into the depths of hell, never to be seen again, or are dragged back to the home of Krampus, where he eats you. Talk about terrifying children. Now, each year, Krampus and other bad boys of the season like Belsnickel and Nick Ruprecht are celebrated across certain parts of Europe. Their origins began as a pagan celebration of the winter solstice, later becoming part of Christian traditions. With the Christian tradition, St. Nicholas, also known as Santa Claus or Father Christmas, will visit children on December 5th to the 6th. But around this time, naughty children are punished too. In Alpine Austria and certain parts of Germany, this day has become known as Krampus Night. You see, children will have already seen Krampus running through the streets of their town, shouting and making plenty of noise, sending a warning to all children that he is coming. This is known as a Krampus run and is described as a way of men blowing off steam. Apparently, Austrian men will get drunk and run through the streets dressed in a Krampus costume, a tradition many continue to do. Now, many people didn't have a clue about Krampus, as maybe they had their own seasonal mischief maker, or just never heard of him. But this all started to change in the 1890s, when the postcard industry started to take off. Now, these cards were not meant for giving you warm and toasty feelings, but would show an image of a distressed child being dragged into Krampus's large sack. Or maybe the image will show a child being beaten with the birch sticks. The writing on the card is pretty simple, with words like "Greetings from Krampus." Then there are the more adult versions of the cards, which show Krampus throwing a child over his shoulder while proposing to a young woman. But even more strange is when the character is depicted as a large woman who is seen whipping about 10 small men before dragging their asses off in her bag. There are many different versions of the cards, but it seems unclear as to the story they're trying to tell. Are they a dig at how women were portrayed in life? That the exhausted mother may want to get rid of her children and start over? Or maybe that men expect too much and that they get treated to Krampus as a punishment for their ways? Who can tell? But I'd be interested to hear your thoughts in the comments. And here is where something interesting comes up in the history of Krampus too. You see, his earlier images also depicted him as being in torn up clothes with his body draped in chains. Many people believe that this was to symbolise that he is a fallen angel, or maybe a demon that has been bound to the church. Since America was introduced to Krampus, he has become an ironic kind of icon. You can purchase many products inspired by him on Etsy in the form of cards and ugly Krampus sweaters. But when the 2015 Krampus movie came out, It certainly introduced the character to a larger audience and highlighted the fact that this was the original Bad Santa. Now Krampus is said to possess some serious physical and supernatural skills. Many say that when he arrives into town, a massive snowstorm can kick up, with terrifying portals springing up so that he can throw the child into the pits of hell or into his home for munching on later. But even more terrifying is that Krampus can make toys and food come to life, bringing to mind the image from the Nightmare Before Christmas movie where the presents start to spring to life in the morning. Now I'm sure that this character is purely mythical, but say you did run into the horned giant. What should you do to avoid being kidnapped and dragged to hell or eaten? Well, if you know ahead of time that you are due a visitation, you'll be happy to know that the hooved man does have one weakness. If you offer him a piece of fruit like an apple or an orange, Krampus will sit down on the floor and share the item with you, even making polite conversation while you both eat the fruit. After he has eaten his share, it is said that he'll stand up and leave without hurting anyone. Well, if ever you needed proof that a good deed might save your ass, start taking fruit to bed with you. I'm sure you've all been well behaved, so you have nothing to fear from a visit from this pagan devil. So to those of you that celebrate the season, I would like to wish you a very Merry Christmas and thank you for your support during this past year. And to all you dissectors out there, I will see you soon with more paranormal stories from around the world. Don't forget to show the channel some love with a like or comment. And for those of you interested in seeing more from Darkness Dissected, please subscribe and hit your notifications so that you don't miss out on what haunted locations are still to come. As always, stay safe out there.